Hello and welcome to episode number 1 of the Dugout, which is a podcast that I want to explore, basically about coaching, just coaching in general. I just really felt like I wanted to get my voice out there because I know a ton about it and I have a ton of opinions on it. So in this, I'll have guests, I'll do this and that. I don't know. It's just fun and I want to do it. But first, I really want to start talking about the state of coaching in Canada. Now, that's a very, very fun topic to begin on. But as of right now, we have an American coach as our head coach of Canada, which, don't get me wrong, it's awesome. Jesse Marsh is amazing at the time of recording, and John Herdman did so much for this country on the men's and the women's side that I think it's hard for me to just not give them credit and I respect them and what they've done for Canada as a whole. But it does hurt a little bit that you see all these countries do so well at tournaments and they have their own coach, their own countryman as their coach, and it irritates me a little bit that we can't produce that yet. Yeah, it just irritates me a little bit that we don't have that in our country. And one day, sure, yes, someone, will step up and, have experience in Europe and win a bunch of things and come coach here, and it's great. But at the same time, as a country, that should be the goal at some point, is to have someone from our nation do that. But I want to dive deep into the state of coaching from grassroots level, and that's going to shed some light onto exactly why we as a country are or should be better than we actually are. Now, you look at our best player right now, Alphonso Davies. We have our second best player in Jonathan David, both of whom are amazing legends of Canada already, and they still have over half their career to play. And not saying that their coaches weren't the ones that got them there, but I feel like they're so good, and I just don't feel like Canada made them. Individuals from their city, from their club, or where they grew up, their friends, that's what got them there. And I don't think that the system of Canada got them there. You can look to Germany in Das Reboot. That's what got them the 2014 World Cup. They stripped everything down, built it back up, built a system to allow them to succeed at the international stage, and they did. And they're doing it again. They lost their way a bit, and then now they're going back to their roots, and now their players that they're producing are gems, like Florian Wirtz, Jamal Musiala, all these players. And it's so exciting to see. And I look at Canada, not to compare them with Germany, but to an extent, at some point, we have to compare ourselves with the top nations of the world. Sure, we're a growing country and we're young, but at the same time, our GDP is very good. Like, in terms of big countries around the world, like, we're a well-respected country. But yet, at the same time, I don't think it's hilarious. I don't think we have any sort of passion or motivation to excel in things from Canada. Obviously, there are some things, and I'm very much speaking out of my depth when I talk about anything other than footy. But at least from my own perspective, in Calgary, Canada, we just got 77 on turf for indoor season when the winter comes, only a few years ago. If we're really talking pandemic times, that's when we really started to do it. I can't remember if we did it just before or if it was still boarded soccer, but it definitely is very recent. And the fact that we got our first indoor turf 11v11 FIFA official, not quite FIFA official, well, I think it is FIFA official, with a Foothills Macron Center back in 2018, I believe. Yeah, because I had just finished my youth career then. And that was 2018. And then we got to our first World Cup in 36 years. Or is it 32? I can't remember. In 2022. So we got Calgary got their first 11v11 turf field, and then 4 years later, we just make the World Cup, like, out of like so many years. So it just seems like we're, for so long we were so underperforming and didn't care, and now we're slowly getting there, but at the same time there's still like obstacles in the way. So I don't know what the purpose of the rant was for, but coaching is a huge thing. I guess to wrap it all up into one thing, the funds for coaching is huge, and the lack of coaching quality in Canada as a whole is huge. Yes, there are some places that and some people that dedicate their lives to this, and that's not a knock on them. But as a whole, as a culture, as a federation, there's it's only just starting now, and it's frustrating to see that these amazing players like Jonathan David and Alphonso Davies, like, they're outstanding in their own way. Like, not to knock any of the other professionals, but no one else has won a Champions League with Alphonso Davies. No one else. Like, you can look at multiple other countries, and so the quality of the coaching in Canada needs to rise up. And I've found that out like a couple years ago. Didn't do anything about it, or didn't start to really think about it much until now. And I really want to just go on a journey to elevate the coaching, at least in my city, Calgary, because, like, I'm so passionate about my own city and about us. Like, from a little boy, I was a Calgary Flames fan. Grew up loving them. I still watch them. I still follow them. Like, I'm like, even though like I'm a massive like footy fan, I still am so passionate. I mean, I have jerseys over there hanging on my wall that are like Flames jerseys from like Joe McGinley, Matthew Tkachuk, them. And so it's so ingrained to me, this city, and how important sports is to it, that when I see the lack of quality coaching, it gets under my skin. Like, I take it personally. Insert the Michael Jordan meme there. But it just rubs me the wrong way when I see a parent shouting at a 6-year-old kid because they can't do something properly. Maybe not 6-year-old, but like a 9-year-old kid that's just trying their best and just wants to have fun. Like, it bothers me, man. Like, why are we so annoyed at these kids for not understanding things that's not ingrained in our culture? And that's why I think, like, on a side note, I think immigration's great for this country, because it's going to expose us to different cultures and help us grow in so many different ways, like, as a culture. And maybe it'll, give us different solutions to problems. But at the same time, I think we need to, as a Canadian federation and a provincial federation, Canada and Alberta need to, or Canada, Alberta, and all the provinces in Canada really need to sit down together and really plug away at something. I know there's plans in place. I've seen them, of long-term Canada soccer goals, and I think that also coincides with Jesse Marsh coming in. And I really hope that means that provinces and the nation as a whole can come in and get everyone aligned. Like, I understand we're as big as a continent, but at the same time, like, everyone makes jokes about how all Canadians are the same. And yeah, like, we're very far apart from each other, but Canadians are very similar in many, 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 many ways. And we're connected whether we like it or not. So it's not that far-fetched to say we want one pathway, a few types of players that we want to produce as a nation. And I think that's the goal of this, the goal of this podcast and my whole sort of journey with this, is that I want to understand and make things transparent to the average person, that yes, like, coaching's getting better. Like, we're getting better. Players are getting better. Like, we're getting more educated. I just finished my B diploma this past summer. And like, I think there was 30 of us coaches that did it, maybe just under. And now there's another group of 30. And I know a few on there that are getting their Bs. And this is very, very good. And it's going to elevate the level of coaching in this. So like, in 2 or 3 years, my B is not going to be worth as much as it is now. And that's a good thing. And then eventually our A diploma, and then eventually pro diplomas, and then eventually people will be going overseas to coach, because the quality of coaching is good. And I hope that ends up being the way it is. But along this journey, I'm going to interview coaches, I'm going to interview players, people that are in the soccer community, store owners, all these things, business owners, that will help me understand or or help me just see if as a nation we are getting better and better, if we are improving as a nation, or where do we need to improve next. These are the things that I really, really just want to find out and to learn from them and add to my own coaching journey, because I'm about to turn 25. By no means am I the finished article when it comes to a coach, and I'm very okay at what I do. I love what I do, and I think that gives me an edge. But I honestly think that for my own education and for me to get really good, my prime will be in my 40s and 50s when it comes to coaching. So right now, for the time being, for my 20s, I just want to learn as much as possible. So that's a little bit of an insight into my head. But I just want to set the expectations that, like, as a nation, we need to be better. As a coaching community in Canada, we need to be better. We need to be pushing ourselves daily to improve, not just for, the environment or the culture of it in Canada, but for the players themselves. And at the end of the day, the players are what comes first. And if we can manage that, if we can give the players an environment and a culture for them to thrive in and for them to have a pathway to go forward, not only in the professional division, not only to be famous and play for Real Madrid, Barcelona, these players, but to give them the tools and the understanding to stay in the sport and to elevate the sport themselves, to grow the culture itself, and to allow players to learn not only what's important in footy, but also what's important in life in general. And I think that's going to be Canada's job. I think, to wrap it all up in a bow, Canada's purpose should be to identify players that are great for the national team, but are outstanding citizens in their day-to-day lives. Like, what's better than a top professional athlete that's Canadian? A top professional athlete that is Canadian that puts his grocery cart away, or that helps an elderly person, or that takes time out of their week to do service. Like, these are the things that we should be pursuing excellence in. And I think clubs that foster this positive environment, that go and do service activities for the love of it, for them as team bonding, I think these are the players and people and coaches that are leading the line for this. And yeah, follow me on the journey. I'm going to make so many mistakes, and I hope so, because then I'll learn. And then hopefully the players that I will come into contact will also learn more from me and my mistakes. And then at the end of the day, we can, watch Canada win the World Cup in 2026 when we host it. So it's been amazing. I'll talk to you guys next time. Stay tuned. Share, like, subscribe, all those fun things. You can find me on Spotify. And yeah, love you guys.